I'm so glad you could be with us today, and we have a fun.
Well, I'm glad too.
We have a very fun show that we're doing today because once again, we're doing color analysis. We have a couple models that we're going to be diving into, figuring out their season, then checking out what happens when we
Something a little special.
Mhm. What if we tweak some things? What will happen to their season? So it's going to be a really, really interesting show today, and we have some really good graphics.
Graphics that we were fine tuning and putting the last few pixels on as late as a minute ago, and all morning. Just it was a crazy morning. So if we seem a little hyper, it's because we have been working hard. Everything we do with you guys is based on the color of your hair at the moment we do the analysis. And so today we're going to mix that up a little bit and show you what can be done with a little hair color change from time to time.
So I'm going to go ahead and grab our first model.
This particular model, I found her in a stock photography book, and I thought she perfectly illustrated what you can do both with someone's existing hair color and by changing their hair color. We can put her in two completely different seasons. So I think, Sarah, if you agree, we should start out by talking about what is she today with her existing hair color as we see it. Is it light? Yes. Is it warm? Yes, light and warm. That would make her a spring. So the next thing we want to do is show you what would happen if we change her existing clothing to something out of the spring palette and put spring makeup on her.
What she's currently wearing is a very autumn outfit. You know,
yes,
that
she is dressed in a very autumn palette.
So what we need to do is we need to lighten it and brighten it just to get her into the right spring palette. So here we go.
Bright being the key word. So here, our lady, we have on the left, she's still rocking her autumn. On the right, we put her in a spring color, and we put spring lipstick on her, mango peach. And I think she looks amazing. I think she looks lots and lots better in this spring wardrobe that goes with her hair. And Linda says, wow, she looks younger. Yeah, when you're in your season, you tend to look 10 years younger, rested, healthier, all sorts of things that is important for you guys to look, right?
Exactly.
So then we, in our heads, we played with this scenario that we do run into from time to time. And I know those of you out there who are color stylists will have the same issue. Suppose this lady says, oh no, I don't want to be a spring. I like my autumn colors. I want to be an autumn. Well, what do we do at that point? You know, we can say, okay, well, we will put everything, put your makeup, make sure your makeup and your palette is all harmonious. That's one thing we can do. But what if we suggest that her hair go to the autumn palette rather than something that's light and warm? We take her into something that's richer and warm. So we did that through the magic of Photoshop.
And here we have what she would look like, giving her those autumn characteristics, which of course is deep and warm.
Right. Now, I think she looks amazing here as well. And I'm not quite sure which way that she looks the best. Now, Sarah, can you show both befores and afters side by side? And what I'd like to do is get the opinion of you guys out there. What do you think looks better for this lady? If you were the color stylist, which you are in this case, what would you advise her, either or, would be her best look? What do you guys think?
I really, honestly, looking at it side by side, I love the green. I think that really brightens her, and it does kind of make her look younger, just like Linda said. And lighter colors tend to do that as well, or brighter colors, I should say. I like the flush that comes to her natural cheek when that happens. So it goes a little bit pinkier, rosier, and it makes her look a little bit younger. So I'm leaning towards the spring. I think she should stick with her natural color and go with the spring, that bright color.
Well, as always is the way. We have differing opinions. I kind of like her as the Autumn. I think she looks sassy. But out there in our audience, we have a mix of people. Some people like the Autumn better. Some people like the Spring better. So really, we've illustrated what we're here to illustrate.
Mm-hmm.
If you're harmonious, if your hair and your clothing and your makeup are all in harmony, you are going to look better. And so with Coloring Beautiful, that's what we do. We make sure that all the parts of you are in harmony. And if we give you a color analysis using your existing hair, if you plan on changing your hair, you need to let us know now, because this is the kind of thing we could do for you. We could show you your options with a hair color change, without a hair color change, and what your right season is. So once again, the magic of color.
Mm-hmm. Now, I'm just checking out the comments right now, and we're getting a ton, and we have a lot for spring, and we also have a lot for autumn. So I really don't even know what is the preference right now. I'd love to get some more votes in here. Now, what's funny is I think everyone can agree that getting her into the right harmonious palette is something that's beneficial for her. And it just, no matter what, she looks younger instantly. And it's just...
And again, no, when we changed her hair color, we put her hair in her harmonious palette.
You're right.
In other words, it wasn't before, it didn't blend into how she saw herself with those clothes.
Mm-hmm. Now let's see. So we have some greens, autumns. Autumn palette looks best. She looks best on the left in that autumn palette. Spring looks great natural, but the autumn hair color is amazing. I do love that hair color. It's such an amazing, amazing color. And not a lot of people have that hair color. And
it's an improvement. And the important thing is this was done by me on Photoshop. So with the idea that the hair that she had could become richer and deeper, and that would in fact make her an autumn.
Mm-hmm. Now this one's really an interesting comment from Susan. I like the way you thought about this and saw this. And I would advise to change the hair color to autumn as her skin tone looks less pale. And she does that. It helps warm up her skin tone. So I like that you saw that. That's a really great point. An autumn looks good. The spring colors, let's see, maybe she needs a change. I wanted to color her hair. Yeah, it's at that point, it's totally up to you, because as long as you're in the right palette, it's really what you want to do. If you want to change, you can change it up. Or if you don't want to do the work of changing your hair color, you can stay in that season, just work within that season. Or if you want to do a completely different look, you can do that as well. It's totally up to you. Remember, something we always say is you can wear any color you want. It just has to depend on the hue of it.
And a couple of little nuances that I wanted to point out between the befores and the afters. Did you guys notice that in her spring palette, her hair looks redder than when she was in the wrong colors? Mm-hmm. It has more color to it. And this is something Sarah always says. She says, when you're in the right palette, your hair takes on more richness than if you're in the wrong palette. Mm-hmm. So here's a case where it literally keeps her hair, it makes her hair less gray looking and gives her a little more color. It's amazing. Once you get yourself in the right palette, hair and clothes, you're going to look great pretty much no matter what.
Mm-hmm. It's so true. It really, if you're wearing the wrong color, your hair it looks dry. It looks a bit dusty. It doesn't have any richness to it. It doesn't have any vibrancy. It doesn't look healthy. So getting yourself in that right season really does an amazing thing for your hair.
I'm looking back and forth from autumn to spring, autumn to spring, autumn to spring, and I'm trying to decide which way she looks younger. And I can't make a choice. I think she looks a little more sophisticated in the autumn with the autumn hair.
Mm-hmm. She has that contrast going on with that autumn color, which I like.
Yeah, a little more serious, I think. But the spring is, I think she looks equally delightful either way.
In the spring, she looks a bit more playful, just not as sophisticated. I totally understand what you're saying.
Yeah, and maybe that suit maybe when we changed her to spring, if my Photoshop skills were really on point, I would have put her in a different outfit that maybe was a little sassier and, as you say, a little more playful and less serious.
Mm-hmm. It's so funny. We have so many different comments coming through on autumn or spring. So this is definitely a toss-up. It's really hard. It is. It's really difficult to figure out what looks the best on her. And all it was a little change of a hair color, just trying to determine, and the makeup. So hair color, makeup, and the clothing is just slightly shifted. And it becomes this difficult to figure out what looks better on you. As long as you know you're in the right palette, your hair, your makeup, and your clothing is harmonious, you know you're going to look awesome.
More than anything, what we wanted to say to you today, because we've been with you guys for months, and we've developed friendships with our viewers, and what we want you to take home with you from this is that you don't have to say, well, my hair color is what it is. If you are really needing a change, and a lot of us do, like my friend was telling me about this weekend, we can help you. We can help you work through what a change in hair color will do, and how to be flattered by your clothing and things in that new hair color.
Mm-hmm. And if you have like an image that you're going to go show your hairdresser, you can send it to us so we can get you in the right season, figure out the best makeup, and get you in the right color palette. So you have all of that available to you. All you have to do is just message us, or you can email info@colormebeautiful.com.
We're here for you.
Mm-hmm. All right. So now that we made this super difficult, moving on to our next model.
It was also super difficult in some ways, but not in others. This particular model, we had the inspiration for doing this segment, this part of the show, was a friend of ours has a daughter, a gorgeous, beautiful redhead. And so we were chatting, and she said she wanted to dye her hair black. But then I had to think about it, and really, for her to make that decision, we would need to show her what her hair looks like in black. So I chose a warm model. And I thought we would change your hair color to black and see what happens.
Mm-hmm. So let's grab that model.
So you see, naturally in the stock photo, obviously she's an autumn. Mm-hmm. But once we take out all of the red and gold highlights, she's a winter. And her skin tone, her eye color, she can pull off being a winter. She can pull off the black hair, right?
Mm-hmm.
I think she looks equally good. This is my opinion. Again, we're asking you out there what you think, but I couldn't advise her that one color looks better than the other color on her.
Mm-hmm.
Would you agree?
I think they both look good. And once you get yourself into the right season, that's how you make it great.
Right. So what do we do? Let's take one of the hair colors and put her in the right color.
So how about we do autumn first? What it would look like getting her as an autumn. So she's in this warm golden hair that you see on the right. We're going to do a before and after, wearing the regular white that she was wearing versus a green color.
Right. And Linda asked an important question for this demonstration. She says, is she wearing the same makeup in both pics? Yes, she is. I didn't adjust that. So any changes that you see in her face are based on the color of her hair and how it reacts to her skin.
And what you'll notice is lip colors, they tend to gravitate towards whatever your hair color is doing or what clothing you're wearing. So in this case, she's not wearing a color. Her lips on the right look a little bit warmer than her lips on the left, which look a little bit cooler. And that's what's going to happen. Just that's how we see color in that way. But let's go ahead and grab that before and after.
Now, as an autumn, all you the color analysts out there, color artists, we would put her in something in the autumn palette. My exclusionary color for autumn is olive green because I personally believe that only autumns can rock the olive green. Mm-hmm. Beautiful.
And remember, it needs to be a yellow green, a yellow olive green, not think about green. Right, like a pine green or a blue-based green. It needs to be a yellow, warm green.
The original photograph had her in a white t-shirt. That was very fortuitous because I liked starting out this process with someone in a white t-shirt. However, here we go. We've put her in the olive, and now, and without changing her makeup, what do you see?
She
I see
instantly
more
warms up.
Yes, and I see more color in her lips.
Mm-hmm.
Cher even says that her face is slimmer on the right.
I
And I promise you, this is not a Photoshop deal. This is what your eye will do. I mean, we've all seen those optical illusions online and in books or whatever, where you look at one side for a long time and then you see some woman hanging from the chandelier. But if you look at it a different way, it's a cat. In this case, there really is an optical illusion. When you're in your right colors, your skin improves. As he says, it's like it adjusted her makeup.
Mhm.
It does. That happens. It's crazy.
And that's sometimes when you wear the wrong colors, your skin tends to go a little sallow or go a little in the opposite direction of what will harmonize the look. So that's something else that we mention. Or underneath your eyes might go a little gray, or your skin doesn't look as warm. It tends to try to drag your color the opposite direction into whatever clothing you're wearing. Even I see this all the time on springs who have, a warm golden blonde, but if they're wearing the wrong color, that warm golden blonde goes very dusty and it looks dry, and it doesn't give you that warmth as wearing something in the right palette that would be harmonious to you.
And to that point, what you're seeing here, it look, her hair color even brightens. I don't mean it lightens. I mean it has more richness to it. Looked at when you look at it against the olive. And speaking of olive, Deborah had the comment that she's a summer and she loves olive green. She just can't give it up. Girl, I feel your pain. But both Sarah and I both have we have a trick for you. Take your olive toward green when you're out there and you're looking at things that are olive / khaki green. Make sure it's a grayer version of this, and you can wear it all day long.
Yeah, absolutely. Green is, once again, you can wear any color you want. It just really depends on that hue level and just if it's warm or cool. So I love, you for example, I love when you wear a softer version of this green. It makes your eyes look amazing. So it really is just a little slight change. Just make sure if you're a summer, just go a little bit dustier, like you're wearing that veil over the color.
And here's a crazy trick. I don't know if any of you guys paint, but if you've ever painted and you've ever mixed colors on a palette, what I find is in my mind, if I'm looking at something, I kind of visually in my head add a little bit of my hair color to the color. And when I do that, my hair is gray. If I were to add my gray hair, mix it on a palette with this olive, what I would end up with is exactly what I would need to be wearing. And the same is true of Sarah. If we mix a little Indian red into some color that we see out there kind of visually, then that ends up being in her palette.
It's a really great visual clue just to get you in the right direction. So especially if you see just a regular purple, or you want to know if for instance, a blue is in your palette, mix your hair color pretend you're mixing your hair color into that color.
Obviously, you do that in your head. Yeah. You don't go painting on things in the store or whatever.
Right. So, and that's kind of a really great indication on that color for your season.
So, Sarah, what would happen if we look at this model with black hair?
Now
what kind of clothes would she need to be wearing?
Let's see what happens. So right here, she's in autumn. She has this golden, dark hair, which makes her warm and deep, which equals an autumn. So let's see what happens if we take out that golden hair, but keep her deep, which makes her a winter.
Boom. Now, remember, if we were just looking at her skin tone and her eye color, which hasn't changed through any of this process, then, I don't know, maybe things would be different. But in this case, with her change in hair color, look at how her face lights up when she's in her original white. I mean, it's like somebody flipped a light switch for this lady.
Yeah, look at around or underneath her eyes. It just brightens up right underneath of there and really helps her lip color. Now, remember, when we last looked at her, her lip color went warm. But now, look what's happening. Her lip color is moving cool.
Toward pink. pinker rather than peachier.
Mm-hmm. And you can see
And
that.
and so and once again, we're kind of at a place where as long as your hair color is harmonious with your palette, um, then you're going to be okay. You're going to be good.
Mm-hmm. And another thing, just looking at this image that I noticed, if you look at her highlights in the green, it looks like they're going a little bit yellow, but in the white, they stay cool, which is something else. And hair color.
Well, you and Linda are on the same mental page because she just posted her hair. Blah, 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 her hair highlights have become cool and they frame her face. So both of you guys are zoned in her highlights.
Mm-hmm. And that's something I think for me, being in autumn, somebody who has, very vibrant red hair, wearing the wrong color just makes my hair look so dry and dull and dead. But when you wear the right color, it makes your hair vibrant. It brings life back into it. It looks just very shiny and warm and healthy. So I really, really believe that your hair makes such a difference, and it really just helps make you look younger and make you look healthier and more alive. So hair is very important when it comes to color analysis and wearing the right shades. And that's why I always bring it back to look at that hair and what it does.
Yeah, us too. I mean, sometimes I use eye color and skin tone as a tiebreaker for your season if you just are right in the middle or something. And sometimes, I mean, we have people sending their photos to us from out there often, and we do a color analysis. Sometimes someone will have classic autumn eyes, and I always say, should you just, and they won't have the autumn hair color. And I'll always say, should you decide to make a change, this is something in your option.
Mm-hmm. Now, Holly, I love your comment. She looks really good natural autumn, but with that new hair color, looks fantastic as a winter. It's so true. This was such a great model to do this with and figure out how the hair color changes you. And don't be afraid to get your hair color done. You're going to look amazing in whatever you want. It can be any color in the world.
Whoa. Don't go crazy, girl. Well, we can have a beautiful redheaded spring who wants black hair. Calm it down.
Well, I think it should be whatever you want. You can do whatever you want and wear whatever you want. I completely believe that you do whatever you like. And just these little tiny changes is all you really need to feel your best self.
True.
And also, Lisa mentioned that one of her clients shaved her head, and guess what? Gray and black grew in instead of brown golden hair. She went from autumn to winter with a bright silver gray. Love that.
Interesting.
Mm-hmm. One of my favorite, this is totally off topic, but one of my favorite things to see is a winter with winter white hair. I love the contrast that happens there. I think it looks stunning. It's just one of my favorite things that I happen to come across and see. Just when somebody naturally goes completely white, they have that gorgeous silvery, something I love.
For you guys, if you are a winter, remember that when you go gray, it's a little bit differently than anybody else in the world, because you go from black or ash brown to salt and pepper, where you have a lot of contrast. You got the white strands and you got the black strands. Mm-hmm. And then you eventually move into a clean, pure snow white. Mm-hmm. So where we've seen that people will change seasons. Like I had Sarah's hair in my youth, and now I have this. And I didn't create it either way. I mean, it was natural. Mm-hmm. But with you guys, you winters tend to stay winters. Unless you color your hair.
Something that I think we should probably talk about before we end this, for anyone new that's here, what is color analysis and what we do. That's kind of something we tend to just glaze on over because we have people who, are
regulars.
Yeah, our regulars. They know, and we get right down to the meaty, juicy stuff of it. But just to kind of give a little background on color analysis, it's about harmonizing your look together and giving you the right colors to help reflect you and make you look as good as you possibly can. I just have a few. So Susan, verifying the email address, info@colormebeautiful.com. Yes, that is
one of them. But We highly recommend that you communicate with us here at Facebook, on the Facebook page, because you will get your answers much quicker.
Yeah, sometimes it goes through, if you use our email address, sometimes if it's coming from something or it goes into spam, then we won't get it. And it also goes through everyone at the company. So if you want to go directly to us and something that we will absolutely see, Facebook is the easiest way. But if you don't want to go through Facebook, then you can email us info@colormebeautiful.com. I see Trisha saying that she wished her clients were more adventurous with their hair color. That's a lot.
Trisha, show them this video.
I love when people go and do fun and funky colors. I absolutely love it. And I'm not brave enough to do it at all. Something new I see. A vibrant peacock colors, fuchsia. So we're talking about these bright, vibrant colors that happen when people wear. You do have to be in the right season. If you're wearing like a bright peacocky blue green, that's more of a spring. If you're wearing a fuchsia, that's going to be more of a winter. So super bright, vibrant colors are tough, and you're going to see them in the spring and the winter palette. And then it's going to be divided between warm and cool. If it's a warm, bright blue green or something that is along those lines, it's going to be warm, spring. And if it's a cool fuchsia color, winter.
You know, we get it. We get that this is hard to visualize. We do it a lot, and it's our thing. So, you know, we'll go, oh, well, make it a grayer picture mixing color. And it's that. Remember, when you can't visualize what we're talking about, we have a color fan in your season that you can order, and it's right in front of your face, and you can spread it so you can fan with it if you get too hot. Or you can use it to pick out your clothes. We also have a digital swatch palette that you can bring up on your computer and put that up against any kind of clothing that you're thinking about and know if it's in your palette. And I believe that any of the color devotees that we have here with us, all of them have their color palettes or their color fans, because they often refer to them. And so it just becomes second nature. And then once you've seen it enough, you start to understand color nuance.
And I see Lori's comment about she dyeing her hair a bunch of different colors, and she said she's dyed her hair all of those colors. I absolutely love that. I love seeing bold colors and people just stepping outside their comfort zone and having fun with it. I absolutely love that.
Yeah, we have some great comments coming up, Sarah.
Let's see. So Holly was talking about our aloe episode. We did do an aloe episode on our new moisture complex.
Oh, she loved it. She said they talked about it for 2 hours.
Aloe Advanced. If you want to check that out, it's right before this one. It's really interesting. It goes into depth about really what is inside aloe that makes it so good for your skin. It's fun. We also go into some of our product. I noticed that we went way off topic at the end, and we go into some really interesting ingredients and where they come from in our products. So it's a fun episode. I definitely recommend watching it.
And we're delighted that you and your mom spent a couple hours chatting about it, because it was jam-packed with info.
And Lisa just said, what I'm hearing is hair color trumps the final decision for a season.
Yes. So as we demonstrated throughout this whole show, the thing that really drove the way they looked in the end was being harmonious with the hair color. Your
hair color naturally changes over time. And what we found is somebody who is born as a rich redhead, warm, this color, and they transform into gray, for example, you can't stay in that palette. So the thing that matters most to us is that hair color and transitioning with that hair color to get you into the right season. So
and one thing that I think is so interesting is that someone who's dyed their hair all colors, where do you land? Lori, let us know. I'm curious about did you ever find a home in a particular hair color? And when you change hair colors, how did you deal with your palette? Right. I'd love to hear.
Yeah, could be really fun. And did you stay warm or cool, or did you always stick to cool colors? Did you always stay in the winter palette? That could be really interesting and really fun.
Love these details.
Now let's see. So we have some comments. I love the color fan. It helped me go back to summer instead of my trek into winter. Yes.
Sure, you were so right.
Summer and winter can be tricky because they're both cool seasons. So there can be a lot of mix up along those lines, and I totally understand. Sometimes you do need the just being able to see the colors that are in your palette to really understand which direction. And then Holly is saying, "I love my online palette. I don't order anything without it." Yeah,
Me
me
neither.
too.
And I know my colors, but there is something about always having and also, um, Sarah showed me how to download a PDF reader and take my online palette from my computer to my phone. Girl,
Mhm.
that it is awesome.
But something else awesome, I think Holly has mentioned this before about using your online palette on your computer. Your computer colors, they can shift like your brightness. So it's interesting because if you have both the color of what you want to purchase next to your palette, it doesn't matter how your computer is set because they're both going to match up. So even if your computer monitor is set to barely any brightness and you can barely see what's going on, both of those colors are still going to equal each other. But if you're, if you're, you have your fan in front of your computer, you have your physical fan up against what's on your monitor can change. So that was the reason that we really wanted to create an online version of it that you can keep with you, that you can go places with as well, and that you can see right next to each other.
And interestingly enough, the monitor that I'm looking at is in a laptop, but everybody has a different monitor. But monitors have 25 color profiles. And you can go into your preferences and you can set the color profile to something that works for you. You know, sometimes it has to do with the blue light. You can minimize blue light by adjusting your monitor profile. But what does that do? It changes the way you see what everybody meant you to see in a certain way. You may not be seeing in the same way. And with the digital color palette, it's all of a piece. It's all right there in front of you.
And Trisha asked a question: what is recommended these days, the online palette or physical fan? I think it's totally up to you. If you're shopping out and about, you're going places, the physical fan is going to be better. But if you're more shopping online and you're comparing colors on your computer or on your phone, go with the online palette. But it's preference of you, what you want to do, how you want to work. Totally up to you.
I would like to add something though. If you're new to color, if this is the first fan you've gotten or the first thing that you're getting, I recommend starting with the color fan in your hand. Because just as we said, because every monitor has a little bit of difference, you know, the magenta might be turned up or the blue might be turned up and so they're all a little bit different. I think it's awesome when you're starting out to see the physical fan in your face because you learn that your brain will absorb that. And then of course, I think the digital palette is a necessity for online shopping because you can't do with the physical fan online what you need to do when you're shopping.
Now, I wanted to go back to Lori's comments about changing your hair color, which I thought was really funny because, we were just talking about all these bright and colorful, peacock colors and also fuchsia colors. And Lori was saying that she was wearing both spring and winter. So by hearing that, I know that you like bright colors and you stick with your bright colors and that's where you land. And it's so funny because winters and springs are both bright seasons. So all of the colors on that palette.
Bold for winter, bright for spring, but still your intensity is there.
Yes. So I love it. I absolutely love it. That's what I like to hear. And then we have Holly. Let's see. When I have ashy blonde hair, I look great as a summer. Yep. And but too much upkeep. Yeah. Honey to light warm blonde. I look great as a spring. Yep. You're right on track. Natural or dark browns autumn. So true. And when I have red hair, I look better as a spring. So it wasn't as darker as red. Yep. So I was about to say.
Yeah, I'm thinking Nicole Kidman red.
Yeah. So it was probably a little bit lighter. And then, yeah, of course, you're right on. You're spot on. I was a spring. And she said she went through a black and burgundy phase through her junior high rocker phase.
Nice. Rock on.
I love that. It's so funny to hear. I went when I was born, I was a golden blonde. Then I dyed it a bunch. I was a cheerleader. I think we've talked about this before. I dyed it a bunch. I wanted to be blonde. I wanted to stay blonde. And then decided to grow it out. This red came through. This is natural what happened after I was born blonde. This red came in. And that's where I'm at right now. Now, of course, I'm turning the topic really quickly. Lisa is asking, will there be a fall color trends digital download coming out?
Yes, ma'am. It is in the works.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so glad that you thought to ask about it. So yes, it's on its way.
Yes, you will be seeing that. Let's see. I get a ton of compliments, even from total strangers, when I dye my hair burgundy. That
Girl.
That's your winter color. Yep, Lori, that's gonna stick with your winter color. Now, there is a tricky. I will say, red is a tricky color because you can't have like a burgundy red and you can have a warmer red. So that's where it does get tricky. If you're a burgundy red, then you're going to be a cool season and you're going to be a winter, which is a blue based red. But if you have a golden based red like this, as you can kind of see, or a strawberry blonde type of person, that's a warm based red. So that's the only tricky part about color analysis, is that little tiny detail, warm versus cool based reds.
And I think our Colory Beautiful and us, I think our messaging on that probably should be better, because we aren't always clear about, where does the red become cool? Where is it warm? But I will say, you can always send us a message and send us a picture, and we will always help.
Yeah. And, we love doing this. We do. This is what we live for, is color analyzing. We love checking out different, also skincare. If you have questions about skincare, love, love, love doing that as well. And is CMB the first in the color industry to begin color analysis to the market? That's a good question.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
We were the company that popularized color analysis. I mean, throughout the years, you can find old vintage color charts from back in the 30s or the 40s. They don't always match what we believe.
We've seen a few sketchy ones where we're like, I don't think that's right.
But yes, we were the first to popularize the system, and we were the first to develop a line of cosmetics around the system to work within the system.
Mm-hmm. Now, before we forget, Linda is asking what the big news is. So
yeah, this was our big buildup. So I'm really excited about this. Are you going to talk?
No, you go ahead.
Okay. So as you saw throughout the show, there was a lot of photoshopping, a lot of digital, and we love bringing that information to you. But we thought that you would be more interested in seeing real people. And we use stock photography. We pulled it right out of the stock photography book. But what if the people that we're doing the color analysis on in our video is you? And we want to start that. So with that in mind, what we invite you to do, anybody who wants to see their colors done right here on the show, is send us your photo in natural light. I prefer that you wear a white t-shirt, if you have one.
Or you can just drape yourself in a white cloth. If you're in autumn like me and you would never step near a white t-shirt, which I wouldn't, you can drape yourself in a white cloth.
Whatever. I'm telling you all my nice to haves, but we can do this no matter what. Take your picture. If you have a white t-shirt, wear it, because that's helpful. And send it to us. And what we'd love, along with your permission, I have to say this for legal, along with your permission to use your video use your image in our video. And we want to start photoshopping and showing you some things, maybe changing your hair color, putting you in the right colors. And I want to talk to everybody about it.
Yeah, so the format we used earlier is kind of how the format is going to go. So if we could just get your image, natural light, white t-shirt, sent to us with a little, tidbit. Your hair, we would like your hair out so we can get a good reference of what color your hair is. And if you have any things that, like, say you're thinking about going a different color of hair, let us know. We'd like to know that if you're thinking about dyeing it, or if you're thinking about making some changes, or maybe you want to switch to a different season, let us know.
And another piece of information that would be helpful is if you have a color that always gets you compliments, that other people always recognize and say, hey, that looks good on you. We'd love to know that. And Lisa says, makeup off, right? ? Yeah, I think that would be helpful. If you want to send 2 shots of yourself in your makeup and then not wearing makeup, that would be good too.
Well, We definitely no lipstick because that's going to be,
That's important.
yes.
We always need the makeup off, but if you want to add another photo
Yeah.
of your makeup on, that's
Just
okay.
because I know how I am, if you want to conceal a few little things, you can do that. Coming on here without any makeup, I think I traumatized myself. So if you want to just do a quick, conceal a few little here and there's, or maybe cover up a little under the eyes, you can do that. Do not worry. Perfect.
And yes, Holly, your hair where we can see it and get a good look at it. Linda, you can send yourself with your glasses, but at least one picture with no glasses, no makeup in your white t-shirt.
And if I was just going to say, if you are interested and maybe you want to change up your glasses color, let us know. Let us know some details in the description, what's going on, if you want to.
Well, since we haven't gone massively off topic today, I want to go massively off topic real quick. So yesterday I went to my eye doctor to get a new prescription, and I was looking at glasses. And as usual, I took selfies of myself in all 500 pair and then sent them to Sarah, so we could talk about them. It drove the technician insane because they wait around and clean every frame to make sure it's clean and virus-free. But I took pictures of all these frames. Well, what happens is that the colors in the photos look different than what you're seeing there in the mirror. And I highly recommend getting some selfies of yourself and sending them to us because you just don't see yourself in those mirrors the way other people see you.
See, and I'm getting a lot of comments about relating to the no makeup thing. Yes, do not worry if you don't want to come on here just full natural face. You don't have to. Just a little few touch-ups. We don't want to, make your skin tone look a different.
Yeah, you know what? I have no problem with you wearing foundation and concealer.
Yeah.
The mascara, if you want to do that, that's fine.
Yeah.
But really what we want to stay away from are items of color.
No eyeshadow, lipstick, blush. I'm trying to think what else. A natural brow would be helpful. Just so we can kind of get that natural color. It's not necessary, but it would be helpful. So up to you. This is just kind of a few things. It's not going to change anything. It's just a little bit easier to see what your natural brow is and get you in the right direction.
And Holly, again, I want to let you guys go and say great show, and we end on a high note where we're going to have you guys send us your pictures, which we're really excited about. But Holly then asked a question that has to be dealt with. And she says, are there any true winters and summers, those are cool seasons, who would normally wear silver, white, gold, titanium, cool jewelry, cool metals, who won't give up their gold? And, that will they look bad in it or not? She says, and they don't look bad in gold. Well, you know what? Mix. You can mix silver and gold beautifully. If you're not ready to give up your gold, kind of focus on mixing the two colors together. There are a lot of jewelry options that do that already. And if you want, if that's of concern. But bottom line, truth telling here, the amount of color that's in gold jewelry doesn't really.
Yeah, if it's something dainty, then it's not. You do what you want to do. First off, it's not you have to live a certain way. But if it's so dainty and you love it, and it was given to you by, I don't know, like my ring, my wedding band is your mother's wedding band, and I wear it every single day, and it's silver, and I'm not going to give that up.
Well,
so
technically, it's white gold. Yeah,
it's white gold, but yeah,
okay. Silver in color.
Right. It's silver in color, and I'm not going to give it up. So that it's up to you. It is. And if it's dainty enough, it's not, a big chunky piece of gold. It's fine. And Lori is just like, I think we might be twins because she said that she had surgery a couple weeks ago and almost died when they said no makeup. And she did it. I love this. I absolutely love this. She did a cat eye, but skipped and warned them ahead of time. That honestly, there's a deep connection between you.
Girl, you and Sarah.
I'm right there with you. All right. So, I want to make sure, Sarah, your earrings look silver on my iPad. They're actually gold. They're reflecting back on that light. I think
But thank you. This is
yeah.
the perfect example of how, dainty gold versus
Yeah.
silver,
Mhm.
it's reflective. So oftentimes it is reflecting what's around it.
Yeah.
Um,
Like you're probably getting most
Or
of
you might
your hair.
be picking up the gray of the chair, whatever. So unless it's some big bulky piece,
Yeah.
whatever. It's kind of
Yeah.
whatever.
I'm telling you right now, I'm not going to change my ring. So it's up to you. It's totally up to you.
To wrap this all up, because I know we're over time,
Yeah.
we are thrilled
Mhm.
to see your pictures and to work with you in a video, and just expand our family that we see right here on the video. And I know you guys kind of communicate with each other. So how awesome will it be for you guys to see each other's faces and see something live going on?
Yeah. Other than our faces.
You're sick of our faces.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm really excited. Don't forget, you can email info@colormebeautiful. And one thing that's very, very important, other than sending us the pictures, is saying that you do give us permission to use the images. So
In our videos.
yes,
We're
we'll,
not going to sell them.
yeah, or we'll have to come back to you and bother you. All right. So we hope you had a wonderful Wednesday. We hope you enjoyed the show. And don't forget, send us your images. Hopefully, if we get some by next Wednesday, we can start this. And
Yeah, we need them a little bit earlier than next Wednesday. If we're going to do something for Wednesday, we're going to need those images coming in this weekend.
Yeah. We need a
because it does take a while to prep.
All right. So we hope all of you guys have a wonderful weekend, and we will see you on Monday for It's a Beautiful Monday. And cheers